Hi, good afternoon and welcome to Cooking Uncovered. It's Miriam, and this afternoon I'm making a treat because we're going over to some friend's house and I don't want to buy a hostess gift. I'd like to make her a treat, so I'm making these phenomenal chocolate chip cookies, and these are cookies that I made for my business years ago in the business, and they're delicious. Now I sell them at school and they're great there, so I've adapted them so it's a little bit smaller batch. So I'd like to really show you this because I've added some twists and it's so delicious. In fact, they're so delicious that I'm going to make them and give them away so I don't bake them and eat them myself. So in my mixer I've got a 1/4 pound of butter already in there. It's nice and soft. To that I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of brown sugar and 1/2 cup of white sugar. So that goes in. Alright, to that, I'm going to just let that cream. To that I want to add 1 egg. I've left the egg at room temperature, but you know what, if it's cold, don't worry about it. So 1 egg goes in, and to that I want 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Now I have a story about my beautiful bottle of vanilla here. One of my students, his name is Rony, he and his family holidayed a while ago in Mexico, and he said to me, "What would you like me to bring you back, Mrs. Boris?" And I said, "Vanilla, please bring vanilla." And sure enough, this gorgeous bottle of vanilla, which I just love. It's the best thing going. So that goes in as well. So on the back counter, I have my already toasted oats. I really like to use toasted oats. So this is 1 cup of toasted oats that were in the oven for about 10 minutes. So I just use my parchment paper. And in that goes into my recipe, and I'm going to use this for my cookies, which I'll talk about when I scoop my cookies, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So 1 cup of toasted oats, 1/2 cup of coconut, and what I'm using today is the sweetened, the sweet coconut flakes, which are just fine. So 1/2 cup of coconut, and then we have 1 cup of flour. Now, I've also, at school, I use 1/2 whole wheat flour and 1/2 all-purpose flour, but I only have all-purpose flour at home. So I'm just going to use 1 cup of all-purpose flour. So that goes in, 1 cup of flour. Plus you need your leavener, so your baking powder, baking soda. And for this recipe, I am using 5 mLs or 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and the same with soda. And you'll be surprised at the outcome of these. So 1 teaspoon of soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, so that goes in. This is so easy to make, honestly. And a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I know you're going to say, "Oh, cinnamon and chocolate." No, it just enhances the flavor. Trust me on this one. So I'm going to mix all that together in the mixer. It comes together in a dough. Now, the creme de la creme, the coup d'etat, the lovely part that I just love, is now you have options. If you like raisins, add raisins to make this a raisin oatmeal chocolate chip cookie with the chocolate chips. So I've got chocolate chips, but you can do so many other things. For example, I have here one of my ultimate favorite little chocolate bars from Purdy's. It's a peanut butter chocolate bar. So I'm going to take this, so just one, I'm going to cut it into small pieces. Do you see that? Folks, this is amazing in this recipe. And I'm taking 1/2 a bar of dark chocolate, also from Purdy's, but any dark chocolate would work. I've also got the baker's chocolate here. If you want to use that, you can use that as well. So I'm just going to cut the dark chocolate up into big chunks, and so that it can be broken up into the bite-sized cookies. So that's done. Now I'm going to take my peanut butter bar. Can you see this? Cut it in 1/2. And then just cut. You have no idea when this starts to melt inside your cookie. Oh, delicious. So that's 1 of the bars of the peanut butter bars and 1/2 a bar of the dark chocolate. So that goes in. Just throw it all in after you chopped it up. And I'll use a 1/4 cup of the milk chocolate chips. So just 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. Throw that in. Why not? It's a treat. This is a treat. If you can't, I know you can't eat this every day or do this every day, but when I'm taking a gift, I like to have them taste phenomenal. So I'm going to mix that up very quickly. Now, the trick with this recipe is This is the way I do it at home, and I'm teaching the kids at school to do that as well. I'll show you. You take your dough out of the mixer, and you can scoop your dough onto, you scoop it and bake it if you want to do that. But what if you wanted to keep it, or what if you wanted to wrap it in a nice wrap and give it away? So see what I've done? I've rolled it, and I've wrapped it in parchment paper, and now I've frozen it. So what I would do now, if I wanted to bake these, I'd unwrap it from the parchment, because this has already been in the freezer. Unwrap it from the parchment, and then simply cut myself some rounds to bake. So then, these little rounds of all frozen dough from the freezer go onto my parchment sheet, and it's so easy. It's just delightful to do it this way. And that's the coconut you're seeing there. So that's the way I would do it. Or you can scoop it, of course. So here's my dough ready to go, and of course, I have some ready to go that I just brought out of the oven. And look at these delicious cookies. And folks, they're really, they're really, really delicious. And they've got a really interesting texture. Crispy on the outside and soft and chewy on the inside. When you take a bite of that peanut butter cup, it's absolutely delightful. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is my sweet recipe of the week. So these are my kind of chocolate chip surprise cookies. I hope you've enjoyed them. You can go to my blog and get this recipe, cookieuncovered.blogspot.com, or any of the other recipes. So thanks for joining me on a Friday afternoon, and I hope you have a great weekend. And thanks, Rony, for the great vanilla. I appreciate it. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Bye.